lovelies. Welcome back to the Sisters Chat Room, and I am back to discuss some fragrances that I have purchased in 2025 that I'm absolutely in love with. If you are new here, I talk about fragrance, fashion, fitness, and faith. I am here to guide and to suggest some of the best smelling scents known to man and woman that would make your collection shine bright like all the diamonds in the jewelry store in your case, and to give you all the tips and tricks as it pertains to PCOS and everything fly, fabulous, and feminine, of course, to keep your life just shining brightly. So if that's the type of content that resonates with you, come into the room and let's get ready to chat. Today, I am back giving you guys some fragrance tea for 2025. Can we take a moment of silence to just honestly thank the fragrance developers for this year? I feel like they heard our cry. There were so many flops and fails in 2024, but 2025 has been a redemption. So much so that my pocketbook has got to chill. I think in the last 2 months, I might have brought 20 fragrances in this house. And baby, we know having an addiction to perfumery is not a cheap hobby to have. Baby, these are the J's that the people used to stand in line for the ticket for back in the day at Champs and Foot Locker. That is how I view my perfumes. These are exquisite drops. And I must say, 2025 has given us some diamonds, some fragrances that I will always have in my collection because I just love them that much. So I'm not going to yap your head off. Let's dive right into which fragrances are just doing it for me right now. And I'm going to start off strong with Sniff's Gentle Reminder. This is the second fragrance collaboration with Alex L, which, of course, if you follow her, she is just one of the wisest people on social media, giving you advice to really enhance and upgrade your life and make sure that you are being treated like the fabulous person that you are. So aside from her giving us fabulous content to encourage and uplift us, she is giving us fragrances, baby, that are doing the big one. Now, I already thought her first release was super good. That pistachio is just exquisite, right? It's one of my favorite pistachio perfumes, but Gentle Reminder has got to be my favorite one that she's done so far, because it's looking like Sniff is not letting up on her, and they shouldn't, because she is literally giving us some exquisite scents that lets me know that she has a nose that is really good, because I love this. And I'm not, again, I've said this on this channel many times, I'm not a true gourmand girl, but I realize that if it is done well, I'm all over it. So let's get right into the notes. The top notes, based on what I looked up, are sugar, milk, dates, and black tea. The middle notes are purple yam and lavender. And then the base note is Palo Santo. First of all, I didn't know I liked Palo Santo until Donna Karen's Cashmere and Palo Santo, and then I realized that Palo Santo is probably a base note or a fragrance note that I'm in love with, because I've been slowly buying fragrances that have it in there and falling in love with them. But let's talk about the purple yam note. So this reminds me of going to Pinkberry. They used to have, and I might need to see if Sweet Frog or one of the other froyo shops have it. It's called a taro frozen yogurt treat, which was similar to the purple yam. Well, I said pink, but it's definitely a purple yam. And it has this tart, sweet, delectable profile to it. And it was my favorite one. I didn't even need to add any toppings. I just went in there for the taro note. This fragrance is just so delicious. And I just think Sniff has done an excellent job at giving us fragrances that we actually want to wear at an affordable price point. So this is how it comes in the box. I put it back in the box just so I can show you guys, the packaging. I love that it has an antidote, a written personal message from Alex L here. But you guys, this is milky, this is sugary, in a sophisticated way. I love the smell of dates that adds a lot of spice in a beautiful, sticky, sweet way. And then it is balanced with that lavender note to bring some freshness. And then the Palo Santo gives us some woodiness. And then the black tea is just done so well. You can smell the tea, but the tea does not overpower this fragrance. And then, of course, there's milk, which adds a fluffiness to this. It's lactonic without leaning too creamy. It just adds a little froth bite to this fragrance. And I'm so obsessed with it. I have sprayed it 100 times, and I probably will end up getting a backup bottle because it's just that good. It really is that good. So now let's get into the second fragrance that I'm literally obsessed with. And I'm also surprised that I love it so much because it too is sweet and gourmand. All right. And this fragrance is from the house of Tomavici. This is Gâteau à l'ananas. First of all, one thing I love about Tomavici, even though I didn't bring the box, their full presentation just allows you to feel like you're buying something luxury for yourself. This is self-love in a bottle. If you ever want to get outside and be like, I want to treat myself and I want to feel regal and royal, baby, get you a bottle of Tomavici. Because when you open that full presentation, you're going to feel like you are a part of a royal priesthood. You are a part of a royal bloodline. Just look at the presentation of the bottle alone. But the box came with the ribbon. You open it. It's got this silk pillow bedding. It's got the card. You just know you bought a very high-end fragrance. And the smell profile does not disappoint. So in the top notes, it is pineapple cake rum. In the base, not the base, excuse me, in the heart, there's cinnamon, coconut, and sugar. And then in the base, there's vanilla, tonka bean, and musk. I believe that's what it is. That's what I looked up. And y'all, this has been told to smell like pineapple upside down cake, and it does. But I'm going to take it a step further because I am from the South. This is giving me pineapple cherry dump cake. This is a dessert that I make, and you put that yellow cake crust on the top and you add that butter, right? And I like to put cinnamon and sugar on top of my dump cake crust so that when it's baking and all coming together, it is just, and oh, I forgot, I add rum extract and vanilla extract to the roux of my pineapple and cherry dump cake. And that's what this gives. It is sweet, it is decadent, it is thick and juicy while also being warm and comforting. And I love that it is balanced with the tonka bean and musk because that brings down the sweetness as it goes through its olfactive journey to being just a warm, musky fragrance with vanilla nuances, and of course that cinnamon and that coconut and that sugar. It's just beautiful. Now, would I call this a summer fragrance? Not necessarily. It's a little heavy. A tad heavy, but not in a bad way. I definitely am one of those people like whatever you feel like wear it. Whatever fragrance you feel like wearing, go right ahead and wear it any time of year. But I will say it's a little thick for summer. I would not overspray this in July or August when we're facing the hottest months. I feel like you can get away with it because we still at the tail end of May. Summer ain't piped up for June, so you can spray away. But when it gets super hot outside, I don't know if you should overspray this because it is a little bit heavy. But there are ways to tone this down and make this a little lighter. But that's just my opinion. But do I love it? It's a love. Will I buy it again? Abso-freaking-lutely. I feel like I'm not going to be without this fragrance in my collection moving forward, but I feel like that about most of my Tomavicis. I haven't tried the entire house, of course, but from Empyrean to Zanat, and now this Gâteau à l'ananas, I don't see me living without any of my Tomavicis. They have not disappointed me every time I've purchased from this house. Now, next, well, let me sit this over here because I don't need the top getting in the way. Next is a fragrance that I am super obsessed with. I have two of the smaller bottles. Well, one's about to be finished. I have a travel size, and then during a sale, I went ahead and got the big mama, and that would be Ava Maria from the House of Beau. So let's get into this. This is probably one of the most beautiful, watery, white florals I have in my collection. I definitely think that this is a wedding day scent This is worthy of being a princess fairy dust unicorn essence fragrance. This is one that is definitely just gorgeous. If you're a pretty girl, this is a pretty girl floral. What I love about it, and I am not even a neroli girl, but the way the neroli is done with the gardenia in this fragrance just screams white floral essence. Just, you're wearing white, you are pure, you are innocent, you are amazingly feminine when you put on Ava Maria. I also really love that there is pear to sweeten and round off the heavy floral nuance in this fragrance. And then also there is a Merlot wine note. Now, I love a boozy note in a fragrance. I have a lot of boozy fragrances that have wine or bourbon or whiskey, vodka, tequila. A hint of booze has never done me wrong, but I don't have many fragrances that use a dark wine note in their scent profile, but House of Beau went there with Ava Maria, and it is probably one of the best decisions that they have ever made. I also like that there's a raindrop note. I don't even know how you capture the essence of raindrops, but House of Beau did it. And literally this does smell like the most sophisticated, feminine, fairy dusted rain, mermaid milk fragrance that you could have in your collection. If you've never smelled anything from the House of Beau, I would suggest that you start with Ava Maria and maybe venture down the lines of getting Bonbon, right? And then after that, get Oro Verde. And then after that, get Lamar. I think those are the top 4 from the house for me. And I have all of them. And I will do a deep dive on the House of Beau at a later date because I have all but maybe 2 from the house. I really love House of Beau so much. And this is my Baccarat from the house. This is my top tier fragrance. This is the champion. She's wearing the gold medal. And I didn't think anything was going to dethrone Lamar or Boom, but Ava Maria is that girl. And now let's get into a newer release from Parfums de Marly that has stolen my freshy soul. I'm simply obsessed with it, and I'm just very happy that Parfums de Marly gave us something that I think men and women will both enjoy, and that is Cassie. Y'all, it is so good. It is an uplifting fragrance. When they were spraying it during the masterclass that I sat in over the weekend, y'all, it's just a mood lifter. It literally smells like happiness, joy, sunshine, and just being free. You are on a resort when you are wearing Cassie. So let's get into the top notes. The top notes are bergamot, black pepper, and ginger. In the heart, you have petitgrain citronnier, timur pepper, right? Doesn't that sound delish? And neroli. And then in the base, you have benzoin accord and akagala wood. Now, so guys, one fragrance that I was not prepared to love as much as I love is from Parfums de Marly, and this is Cassie, their newest offering that literally launched on May 26th, literally this week. And I am so in love with Cassie. Let me tell you, this is a fresh guy or girl's summer fragrance. If you're a guy and you've smelled Sedley, I feel like Cassie tops Sedley. If you're a girl and you loved Parfums de Marly, Delina La Rose, like that like wet, ethereal fairy dust vibe, then you're going to also love Cassie. I'm actually surprised that they released this for men. I get why, but it is very unisex to me. This is one of those freshies that leans unisex to me. I feel like this is going to be the same level of unisex that Altair is for Parfums de Marly for fall and winter. I feel like this is going to be that summer, spring unisex fragrance that women gravitate towards. So in the top notes, there is bergamot, black pepper, and ginger. In the heart, there is petitgrain citronnier, timur pepper, and neroli. And in the base, there's akagala wood, and a benzoin accord. Now, from first here, you're like, I don't know if that's going to smell good. But y'all, this is such an uplifting, bright, elegant, woody citrus floral that just, I can't really just go into detail. So I was at a masterclass that I was invited to by PDM, and I knew that this was coming out. So I wanted to be one of the first noses to smell it. And I took a sample home. Y'all, the way that dry down just blends so beautifully, it just really takes my breath away. Now, let me tell you, the opening, even though there's black pepper in the opening, the pepper is almost misleading because it is very soft and subtle. When this fragrance opens, it literally opens with a beautiful bergamot orange citrus. This is a very different bergamot because I find bergamot to be very bitter and screechy a lot of the time when it's in the opening. But in Cassie, it literally comes across like a orange juice, like a fresh orange juice with nothing added. And then that ginger immediately is picked up. That's where the spiciness comes from. But the black pepper is kind of subdued in the opening. And I will say that the opening fades very quickly into the heart of the fragrance where you get that beautiful neroli. And the tamor pepper, I looked it up, and it is an exotic spice that leans more like a grapefruit. And then the use of petitgrain citronnier is not your typical petitgrain, which is related to orange or an orange blossom. This petitgrain is related more so to that lemon essence, lemon oil family. So right there, you have three types of citrus. You have the grapefruit essence, you've got that bergamot to give you some orange, and then you've got the petitgrain citronnier that gives you lemon. So immediately, this is bright and citrusy and reminds you of everything summer, everything resort. My favorite part is the dry down because it goes into this beautiful woody amber base. That benzoin accord is so warm and inviting. I love Akagala wood, clearly, because we know Mr. Quentin Biche uses it a lot in the base of a lot of his fragrances, even though he did not create this fragrance. But a lot of people try to compare this to Bowie's Imperial, I believe, and one of his fragrances. I will say that Cassie smells nothing like anything Quentin has created, but I will say that Akagala wood in this fragrance is done so well. On my skin, this lasted 8 hours, and it is still on my clothes, in my hamper. I was sitting in church. My sit-down air was immaculate. I could tell my neighbor to the left and my neighbor to the right wanted to scoochie in closer to me because I smelled that good. As I left church and the wind was blowing against my bundles and against my blouse, I could still smell this fragrance, wafts of it just hitting my nose, and that woody base. And as the ginger tones down that citrus, it is such a beautiful freshie. I definitely don't think anybody's going to be disappointed. If you like Louis Vuitton's Imagination, if you like 1957 by Chanel, if you enjoy Blanche Absolue by Byredo, you're going to enjoy Cassie. Even though this doesn't smell like any of those, it is in that wheelhouse of freshness, and you will not be disappointed. You will probably just be like, girl, this really does smell like everything that you said it would. And you need to get your nose on it. I'm just saying. And when you get your nose on it, make sure you comment on this video and let me know what your thoughts were, because I hope they match mine. And last, but certainly not least on this list, an affordable offering from the House of Philosophy. For my clean kings and queens that are not able to wear heavy scented fragrances, they get headaches, or maybe you have allergies and you just want to smell pretty and nice without having anything disrupt your allergies. Philosophy is one of my favorite houses because they really do put your skincare and your body care in mind. Everything is scientifically tested and proven to be good for you while also being made with the best ingredients and cruelty free. And so I have for you Radiant Grace Intense, and I have for you Summer Grace. Now, Radiant Grace Intense is their Oud Parfum. I really love that philosophy is making Eau de Parfums, because typically they are much like Sniff and they make Eau de Toilettes. Light, fluffy, not long lasting, but they are meant to be reapplied, carry with you, throw in the gym bag, wear to the office. To me, that's how philosophy is as a house. But lately, they have stepped into the EDP realm, and I'm super excited because Radiant Grace Intense is absolutely beautiful. So if you've had the original Radiant Grace, that one is more of a rose, cherry, jasmine type fragrance. Sweet, bright, bubbly, pretty. This adds a raspberry accord in amber, and it is so warm, sumptuous, sweet, and just perfect to layer with, to wear on its own. I've been layering it with the Radiant Grace body souffle that they offer, and this will last you all day. I'm actually very surprised at the formulation, and it's super affordable, y'all. This is under $100. And if you use my link that I have in the description, you will save 20% all year long on anything philosophy. That includes their skincare and other body care products. So make sure you go ahead and check that out if you're interested. But I absolutely love this. This is so nice. And the dent doesn't lie. I wear this actually pretty much all the time to work. And it is one of my top gym scents. And I work out about 4 to 5 times a week. So I'm always spraying this on before and after just to give myself a boost to get through the workout and to just refresh myself before I go home and shower. And just, if I have to run errands afterwards, I'm just not outside smelling like whatever, because y'all can say what you want. I'm not trying to smell like a lot of sweat. And that's just what it is. I wipe my sweat off. I put a little spritz on. This is light enough to not make me smell like funk and perfume at the same time. And I go about my business. Now, this one, Summer Grace Endless Afternoon. This is a beautiful light peach, airy jasmine forward fragrance. This one has notes of peach notes, feeling the sparkling air, like I said. And then, of course, jasmine is one of the most mutable white florals that you can add to a fragrance. That floral note plays well with everybody. Anytime you add jasmine to the bunch, she's going to get in there and get along with all the notes. Now, this is an Eau de Toilette, but it is light, it is airy, it is summery. This reminds me of a sparkly Bellini type beverage fragrance that you would have at brunch. This is definitely one that you would wear around your girls, definitely one that you would wear after a beautiful shower before bed, definitely one that you could just spray at any moment in the day that you wanted your mood uplifted. It is a mood lifting fragrance. It is just light, airy, and yes, it reminds me of summer afternoons. This is one that I would put on after a yoga class. It's just really pretty and just fruity and just airy and just sweet. And again, if you are one that can't take heavy fragrances, or you work in an office environment where everybody is very scent sensitive, I definitely think Summer Grace Endless Afternoon is a perfect fragrance for that, as well as Radiant Grace Intense. Guys, so this concludes today's video for the 2025 releases, but I'll be back, child, because there are more that I've purchased that you guys need to hear about, that I think you'll be very intrigued to know my thoughts. And until next time, happy sniffing. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.